presence today. This is Lisa Simric Singh, UN Resident Coordinator for Mauritius and the Seychelles. Mr. Chairman Surajbal, Chairman of the Media Trust. Mr. Anirudh Sukaria, representative of the NDRRMC and other representatives. Our trainers, Mr. Adair Akle, Natalia Ilieva, and Mr. Omar Amach, board members of the Media Trust. I'm really honored, delighted, and excited to welcome you here in the premises of the Media Trust for this training workshop in disaster training, disaster reduction and training. And without much ado, because we are a bit late, I will ask Mr. Suraj Bali, the chairman of the Media Trust, and I will invite him to do his welcome speech. Mr. Suraj Bali.
This is Lisa Simric Singh, Resident Coordinator of the UNDP in Mauritius, Mr. Anirudh Sukaria of the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Center, distinguished guests, colleagues, members of the Media Trust Board, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. It's an honor and a proud privilege for me to welcome you at the Media Trust for the start of the two-day workshop and training on disaster risk reduction. I would like to have a special word of welcome and thanks to the UNDP representative, coordinator, and the UN resource persons, Mrs. Adair Akle, Ms. Natalia Ilieva. I hope I haven't omitted any name. And other trainers who will be running the workshop and training for the 2 days. I would like to thank the UNDP Mauritius office and the National Disaster Risk and Reduction Management Center for making possible the organization of this workshop. Now, speak of natural disasters and the dreadful images of the quake-hit Morocco and flood-devastated Libya of recent occurrence come to mind. It's been in the news almost every day since September 9th, when a 6.8 intensity massive earthquake struck Morocco and caused large-scale destruction and loss of life. And the disastrous flood that Libya faced, which caused even larger scale destruction of property and loss of life. Earthquakes, floods, fires, hurricanes are among the many natural disasters that have left such a trail of destruction and suffering in the past few months that we cannot sit back and wait for the next disaster to strike. We know, you know as much as I do, that natural disasters need no passport, nor do they need any visa to strike a particular area or country. We can go to say that no country is immune to disasters and no regions are safe from disasters. Of course, we can accuse climate change as one of the primary causes of such hazards, striking with ever greater ferocity, frequency and regularity these days. Surely climate change has become the greatest threat to existence in our time. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to acknowledge our frailties. We can't stop disasters from striking. Nor can we decide on the intensity, ferocity, or regularity of such occurrences. But we can build resilience and secure structural protection. We can take adequate measures to minimize destruction and reduce human suffering. I am of the view that effective communication on disaster risk is key to strengthening resilience, and media have a vital role in the management of disasters. I do not think it's an exaggeration to say that mass media have certain characteristics that make them a powerful instrument of disaster communication. They provide quick and easy access to a large number of people located in different places. The media highlight problems and difficulties faced by people affected by disasters and mobilize public opinion for humanitarian assistance. However, when we speak of media involvement, we cannot lose sight of one essential aspect of media reporting, and that is media ethics. Media ethics assume still greater importance when reporting during any disaster event. Ethics set guidelines, rules, norms, codes or principles to lead journalists and other media operators to make moral decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, I may look biased in favor of media, but you will agree with me that media can do a lot in disaster preparedness, emergency management, and critical infrastructure protection long before a disaster strikes. We know that mass media inform about disasters and therefore heighten awareness. This resulting awareness influences public opinion about how the disaster is being managed. Generally, the media coverage of disasters is a common occurrence. Timely, accurate, and sensitive communications in the face of natural hazards can be demonstrated cost-effective means of saving lives, reducing property damage, and increasing public understanding of impending disasters. The mass media can educate, warn, inform, and empower people to take practical steps to protect themselves from natural hazards. One word on the Sendai framework for disaster reduction adopted in 2015 in Japan, and which articulates the need for improved understanding of disaster risk in all its dimensions of exposure, vulnerability, and hazard characteristic, the strengthening of disaster risk governance, including natural platforms, accountability for disaster risk management, preparedness to build back better, recognition of stakeholders and their roles, mobilization of risk-sensitive investment to avoid the creation of new risk, resilience of health insurance, cultural heritage, and workplaces. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my conviction that this is a timely and valuable workshop training for journalists who have a yet more important contribution to make to national efforts to create and maintain resilience to disasters. I feel confident that the sessions will produce useful and insightful discussions and exchanges and be an important building block towards developing and implementing a valuable disaster management system for Mauritius. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Surajbali. You have touched on a number of points so important for journalists in the reporting and coverage of disaster risk reduction and management. We are now invite two of trainers today for some introductory remarks. First, Ms. Adia Akle, External Relations Officer at the United Nations for Disaster Risk Reduction.
Hi everyone, I'll be quick so we can start the training shortly. My name is Adair Ackley. I'm from the UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction Regional Office for Africa. We're based in Nairobi, Kenya, and we cover sub-Saharan Africa. I just wanted to thank the Media Trust for hosting us, and of course the NDRRMC for inviting us to help with the training this week. We are delighted to be here, and we hope these 2 days you will be given the basic concepts of DR and that it will enhance your reporting for Mauritius, which is also an important country for the early warning for all initiative, which we will talk about later today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I will now call upon Ms. Natalia Edieva, Head of Secretary General's Office, Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union, for a few words. Yes.
Thanks, Ashika. I am coming from Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union, and this is a professional association of radio television from mainly Asia Pacific, but also Africa, Europe, and Canada. We have been engaged with disaster risk reduction in the last probably 10-15 years, and we gradually became a partner thanks to UNDRR leadership, which recognized the role of media in the process of early warnings, in the process of educating people how to minimize risk. And since then, we have started a long-term project, and we had one workshop in May last year here in Mauritius with our member NBC and a lot of African journalists as well. So I'm glad to be back. I never expected to be back so soon. And I'm very optimistic that now, together with UNDRR and Media Trust and the National Disaster Management, you will make media really part of the DNA of early warnings of disaster risk reduction in this country. Thank you.
Thank you. This training workshop has been facilitated by the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Center of Mauritius. I will now invite Mr. Anirudh Sukaria, who is the Deputy Officer in Charge of the NDRRMC Mauritius, to address you, dear participants.
Her Excellency Ms. Lizasi, United Nations Resident Coordinator in Mauritius, Mr. Surajbali, Chairperson of the Media Trust, Ms. Natalia from the UNDR,
Asia Pacific.
Asia Pacific, and of course the team from UNDR. So a very warm welcome from our ministry responsible for disaster risk management and the center, National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Center. So today we are assembled here with one stakeholder, the media, which most of the time is being viewed as media, meant for news, local news, and we have learned the hard way with the setting up of this center, the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Center, since 2013, that the business of disaster risk management, it's a whole of government, whole of society, and whole of institution issue. Media has always been a very, very close partner with the National Center since then. With the setting up of the center, we have recruited a number of permanent staff. And one of our pioneer permanent staff within the public service is a breakthrough. We were among the very few first institution who has recruited an information and communication manager who is a young guy from here, Mr. Ram. So this shows the commitment, the institutional commitment of Mauritius in having disaster risk reduction and management, something very important. Since with the center, again, we have slowly but surely developed a very strong networking with the media, be it written, be it social media, but the capacity building was always missing. And here I would like to put on record, Her Excellency, that the UN RC office, the UN office, the UN system in Mauritius, has been always attentive to our requests. And the UNDR office in Nairobi has also been very, very attentive. If I'm not wrong, this is the second initiative we are benefiting, targeting the capacity building for media, how they should be partnering with disaster risk management institutions to make our country safer, to make our population safer, to safeguard life, property, and also livelihood. And I still remember we had also the opportunity in 2016 to hold the regional platform, DRL platform in 2016. It was held in Balaclava, it was a regional one. And we had 1 day training for media as well during it. But all these have contributed in where we have reached in the business of disaster risk management, making our country safer, more resilient, though there is a lot of challenge. I won't go into the details. Mr. Chouchwadi has mentioned the Sendai framework, the SDGs, the Paris Agreement, the climate change, there could be so many things. But in the business of disaster risk management, you have to be a practitioner. There's no room for the theoretical approach. You have to be a practitioner, you have to be action-oriented. And if you will see today, the UN High-Level is meeting, and the message of the Secretary General, Mr. Vitalis, is action. You have to be action-oriented. So to summarize, we wish all the members of the media present here a very fruitful 2-day workshop. Make the best of it. You have with the resource person, UNDR has mobilized. They are well recognized as in that field. So make good use of it, interact with them. We'll be together with you so that we make this event a successful one, and also to open opportunities for further avenues in the field of disaster risk reduction, where media has a very important. With this, we will thank you very much.
you, Mr. Sukaria. It's now my privilege and pleasure to invite the UN Resident Coordinator for Mauritius and Seychelles, Ms. Lisa Simrickson, for his opening speech and to declare this workshop open. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Mr. Maurice Info Formation, NDRRMC, Mr. Suraj Bali, Media Trust, my dear UN colleagues, including colleagues from Malaysia and Geneva who have traveled so far, my dear friends of the media. It's really a pleasure for me to be here today, and I feel this is clearly a very important, two-day workshop, because one of the biggest things that came out of the Sendai was the issue of capacity building and institutions. That was the whole issue of capacity institutions is also anchored on the concept of, the whole systems taking the whole ecosystem of all the actors. And in this regard, one of the biggest things that we've learned, particularly since the COVID time, is the big role of media. You played, here in Mauritius, you played a huge role in saving lives through sensitizing the population, through making them aware, through spreading the message. And that's why, this investment in you has to be continual, to make sure that you're hand in hand with us as partners in this development trajectory. And the whole issue of resilience for CIS country, we've had a lot of workshops this year around CIS agenda. And when we talk about the SDGs, transforming and making progress on the SDGs, we need to apply approaches that unleash the interlinkages between sectors. This whole idea of working on sectors, disaster is not a sector. It's a mainstream issue. If you look at the fact that what happens at the industry level, affects what happens in terms of disaster, reinforces or, makes disaster more grave. Similarly, you've all seen the impact of interlinkages between climate, human behavior, what have you. So I think this whole idea of resilience agenda has to be approached by the media in terms of looking at how can we spread the message in a way that reinforces the prevention mindset, because let's face it, World Bank had a study, and that was like 15 years back, 20 years back even. I think Mrs. you might know that. Just before the Sendai, they put out a report, and they were saying that $1 spent on prevention is equivalent to more than $6 or $7 on the response, right? So which means that prevention actually it makes good business sense. So we really count here at the UN. We're really here to support you, to really focus on institutions and capacities, but also making sure the civil society is prepared. And from the UN team, we have many actors who are actually working in Mauritius, and not only in Mauritius, we work at the regional level also, including with the Indian Ocean Commission. We have recently also launched, for example, the first local disaster risk response plan, Bobasan. So, these are initiatives which we feel are helpful to help you accompany the journey, to really focus on the whole DRM cycle in a holistic manner, but also to engage as a key stakeholder. So I really hope that that the two-day workshop will be very useful for you, and it's not going to be the last one for sure, because we're already in discussions, including with the VPN's office, and we'll be discussing with the about how we can take this forward with partnership with UNDRR. So thank you very much.